Hi again, folks. It's game day. The Sabres are hosting the Wild. Let's look at it. Coming up. Okay, so the Wild are in town. And guys, I realized something when I was looking at the home schedule. I counted the Heritage game as a home game in my breakdown on the 30-win video. But in reality, it counts as a home game. So that's the way they're doing it. And it doesn't really matter. I mean, the Sabres have the same record everywhere, but I thought I'd mention that. I haven't checked the notes. I'm guessing maybe a few of you might have caught on to that. It's just a glitch I didn't spot. Okay, let's take a look at the Wild coming into this, how they're doing. Now the Wild, the good news is the Wild, their last 10 games are 4-6. That's really kind of good news for us. And but on the road, they're 16-12. They're pretty good on the road, 16-12-2. They're 32-17, but 25% of their wins have come in shootout and overtime. So, you know, a little misleading. 24 regulation wins in 52 games. Beatable team. They're beatable. They're a good team, no doubt. They're a good team. And I think they have every intention of being a contender this year, because next year they're going to be in a mess financially. And they're kind of all in this year, kind of like Vegas, I think. And the Sabres at home, thank God, are 8-14. My God. 8-14-4. And we're 17-30 now. 3-6-1 our last 10. There's not much else there except, oh yes, I did want to mention, and it is some good news, is Colin Miller is practicing again. This is really good news because we want to keep this guy healthy, you know? I hope we don't do the boneheaded thing and play him all month and let him get banged up and get hurt again. God, and then we're going to get nothing in the deadline. So get him healthy, trade him out of town, Adams. Wake up, do the right thing for the team, come on. He's not staying. Get something for him now. Ticks me off because I know they're not going to do that. All right. Yeah. So that's that for that game. So this game, guys, is the beginning of the new way. There you go. It's the beginning of the new way of the Sabres' close of the season. We're entering the final third of the season going into this game, so we're going to have to see how we fare going down the stretch. As I was talking about, I want us to finish 13-10-4 these last 27 games. If we could do that, we salvage some respect, and we also salvage. We can look at that number at the end of the year. If you see 30 wins, and say, you know what, it could have been so much worse what I thought before the year started. A lot of us will feel that way. If we hit the 70s in points, season's a success. It really is. I mean, when you look at this roster, it is. And when I said surprise season, look, I'm always going to look at playoffs every season before we're crashed and burned. But what I would have taken in a heartbeat this year, 74 between 77 points. I would have jumped all over that for this season. And you know what? If we finish how I'm hoping, we can finish 72 points. 77's a bit of a stretch at this point. We'd have to really play good the rest of the year. God, we'd have to go something like 16-8. You know, it's just 16-8-3. Nah, you know, but 13-10, I could see. I could see that happening. So if we can get off to a good start by winning this game today, it would be really good back-to-back wins against two solid teams. And I can't remember last time we did that this year. I really can't. You know, and we just got to get something going. It worries me. Whenever we come home, guys, I get worried. Because the pattern all year has been, it doesn't matter how good we played in that road game, we come home, we usually look flat after. And as long as we don't look flat today and confused, because we're going to be playing a team that doesn't make many mistakes. That's one good thing I'll say about this Minnesota team, is that they're not a team that makes a ton of mistakes. They're not the most talented bunch. If you look at their roster, it's a good team, but they're not up in the higher echelon teams like Colorado and Tampa. They're just not up with those teams. And even Florida has more talent, I think, than Minnesota. But this Minnesota team has the capability of going into the playoffs and causing a lot of damage. Like I remember last year when they went into that playoff run, that could have been their playoffs, I should say. It wasn't a run, but they went into the playoffs, and what was it? The first game, I remember they were playing, I'm sure it was Vegas. And in this series, I mean, they came out with something like 70-something hits in the first game or something. It's like, oh my God, this team's really gearing and getting, and then they kind of slowed down after that. It was weird. So we'll see what they're made of. When you look at the roster, it's not a bad roster over there, but they're really going to be hurting next year. Excuse me. They are going to be hurting next year, whereas the Sabres are going to have a lot of freedom, both financially. We're going in different directions, us in Minnesota next year. I mean, they got something like, I don't know, $13 million of dead cap tied up in Suter and Parise. God. So that's how bad contracts can come back to get you guys. I mean, that was brutal. What they went all in hoping to win a Stanley Cup, signing these guys, and nothing happened. That's when it's bad, when that happens. So today, let's come out hard, okay? Let's come out hard on these guys the way we did against Toronto. If we can come out the way we did against Toronto, we're going to be fine. We can come into this game and just take it if we come out like that. But we got to come out believing in ourselves again. I seen a team, guys, last game that believed in themselves. In that game, last game in Toronto, you guys remember the smiles on their faces when they're hugging each other. I mean, these guys they made a game plan and it was working, and that's how it felt for them. I mean, that was a good feeling. This Minnesota team, though, is going to be a little more tricky. They're a much harder hitting team, I would say, than Toronto. So it's going to be a little more tricky to play these guys and have more success up the middle and things like that. It's going to be more tricky. But if we stick with the game plan, we'll see what happens. I don't see why we can't go in there and just put a storm on them. After what we just did, I don't see why we can't just go into this game and put a storm on these guys. Just a barrage of chances all of a sudden. They're going to be like, what the hell? Like the Sabres, what I seen, the way they skated last game, we're more than capable. They need to believe it in here. It seems like they got the heart, but they don't have the mindset yet, the Sabres. That's how it feels. And if they could just get both of them in sync, I think we'll be okay to close out this season. I think we're going to surprise a lot of teams. I still believe it. When I said we're going to have a surprise season, well, maybe it was the end I was talking about. Maybe it's the end where we make all our noise this year. Who knows? But I'm hoping, because I don't want to get the mentality, guys. I don't want to get the mentality that the draft is going to save us this year. There's no Connor McDavid. There's no, Jack Eichel. There isn't in this draft. There just isn't. So if this was the Connor Bedard draft, I'd feel different. I'd feel 100% different, because I'm sold on Connor Bedard. I'm totally sold on this kid. Where Shane Wright, he's not having a very good year. I don't know if any of you have seen it. It's okay. It's not bad. But, it's nothing like the fireworks about. So, no, we're going to get a good pick anyway in that draft. We're getting a good pick this year. There's no doubt about that. And we could win the lottery. Let's not forget that. We could win the lottery when it's all said and done. So why not try to win? I just, it's the way I played, guys. I just don't believe in that losing is good. You're never going to convince me losing is a good thing in any way, shape, or form. So let's see today. Let's hope the boys get this one. Let's hope that we all of a sudden just come at them out of nowhere. Because I don't think they're going to be expecting, well, if we can play like we did against the Leafs, Minnesota won't be expecting it. They will not be expecting it. So let's hope they come out strong. Let's hope they hit a bit more. And let's hope we see Tuck have a good game. He's due for some goals also. All right, folks, I'll see you in the post game. Have a good one.